Elena, I've been thinking about the future. If I win the lottery tomorrow, I will buy a massive island and I will move there with my dog. I'll even buy him a golden vacuum cleaner since he's so scared of the regular one.
That sounds like a lovely dream, James. But, saying I will makes it sound like you've already got the winning ticket in your pocket. Since we're just imagining, it's much more natural to say I would buy an island.
Oh, right. I would. I always forget that. Will just feels so much more certain, but I guess winning the lottery is a bit of a pie-in-the-sky idea for now, isn't it?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. We use would when we are stepping into the world of what if. It's what I call a chameleon word because it changes its color depending on where you put it. It's not just for the past. It's for dreams, for being polite, and for those hypothetical situations we all love to talk about.
A chameleon word. I like that. I usually just use it when I'm ordering coffee at the shop because the barista looks at me like I'm crazy if I don't say I would like. But you're saying it's a real game changer for the rest of my English too?
Absolutely. It's the bread and butter of sounding natural. If you only use will, you can sound a bit too direct or even a little aggressive sometimes. My husband always uses would when he wants to ask me to move the cat off his favorite chair. It sounds much softer than will you move the cat?
I feel you. My wife usually leaves me lists of things to do, and if she wrote you would do the dishes, I'd probably feel better about it. Wait, no, that's not right either, is it?
Haha, not quite, but don't worry, we'll get there. Today is all about mastering this powerhouse modal. First, we're going to look at the basics of using would for imagination. Then, we'll move into the nuance of social grace and politeness. And finally, we'll dive into some common idioms that use would so you can sound like a pro.
I'm ready. I want to sound less like a textbook and more like a human. And hey, to our listeners, how about you? Do you struggle with will and would too? If you want to keep improving with us, make sure to subscribe. It's a piece of cake and it helps us out a lot.
It really does. Now, grab your coffee, get cozy, and let's get started with the basics. In a nutshell, would is your best friend for any scenario that isn't quite real yet. In a nutshell, we're moving from demanding to asking. It's all about that magic word, would.
Oh man, I definitely need this. Last week at the coffee shop, I walked up to the counter and just said, I want a black coffee to the barista. He gave me this look like I just stepped on his cat. It felt so cold, you know? I didn't mean to be rude, I was just tired.
I feel you. It happens to the best of us when we're tired. When we say I want, it sounds like a command. But if you say, I would like a coffee, please, it suddenly feels like an invitation. It's like putting a soft pillow around your words so they don't hit too hard.
A pillow for my words. I like that. So instead of shouting, give me that sock when my dog is chewing on my laundry, again, I should say, I would like my sock back?
Exactly. Although honestly, with a dog, you might need a bit more authority. But with people, it's a total game changer. Think about your wife. If you say, help me with the dishes, she might be annoyed because she's already busy. But would you mind helping me with the dishes? Sounds much softer.
That is so true. Usually she's the one leaving me long lists of chores. I'm always looking for my glasses just to read them. If she used would, maybe I wouldn't put off doing the laundry for so long. It just feels less like a boss talking to an employee.
Maybe. It's funny how such a small change helps people get along better. My husband is the master of this. He never says, move the cat. He always says, would you mind moving the cat so I can sit down? It makes me feel like I have a choice, even if I don't really.
It's all about the respect. Hey, listeners, how about you? Do you ever feel like you're being too direct when you speak English? It can be scary to try and sound softer when you're still learning the right words, right?
It really can be. Another great trick is using would you mind, followed by a verb ending in ing, like would you mind closing the window? My neighbor, she's about 80, uses this constantly when she sees me in the garden. She'll lean out her window and say, would you mind not getting soil on my porch?
She sounds a bit intense, but hey, it works. I'm definitely going to try out these phrases today. I might even try it on my dog later, even if he just turns his nose up at me and keeps the sock anyway.
Give it a go. It's all about making the person you're talking to feel comfortable. It's a great way to bridge the gap between being a stranger and being a friend.
Absolutely. Making people feel comfortable is the goal, right? But you know, Elena, I often find myself daydreaming about things that aren't exactly real. Like if I had $1 million, I would buy a private island just for my dog so he could eat all the socks he wanted without my wife getting upset.
Poor James. A sock island sounds like a nightmare for your laundry budget. But listen to what you just did. You used if I had and I would. That's the second conditional. We use it to talk about these imaginary what-if scenarios.
Exactly. I'm just living the dream in my head.
If my wife didn't leave me those massive to-do lists every morning, I would probably spend the whole day at the coffee shop just staring at the wall. It's a nice thought, isn't it?
It is, and the grammar is perfect. You use the past tense, had or did, in the if part, and then would for the result. But would is a bit of a multitasker. It's not just for dreams. We also use it to paint a picture of the past. For example, when I was younger, my husband and I would go birdwatching every single Saturday morning.
Wait, I thought we used to for that? Like, I used to lose my keys in the refrigerator, which, by the way, I still do. Why use would instead?
Great question. You can use both, but would is more nostalgic. It describes a repeated action, like a scene in a movie. If I say, my cat would sit on the fence and judge the neighbor's garden, it feels like a story. Used to is more like a dry fact. Does that make sense?
I feel you. It's like adding a bit of flavor. So if I wanted to spice things up when telling a story about my childhood, I'd use would for those regular habits. Like, we would always play football until the sun went down.
Spot on. It's much more evocative. How about you, listener? Let's try a second conditional first. If you had a completely free weekend, no work, no chores, no social obligations, what would you do? Would you travel somewhere new, or would you just kick back and relax at home?
Oh, I know what I'd do. I'd definitely take it easy. Maybe I'd even try to learn the ukulele, though I've heard it's harder than it looks. My cousin Dave tried it, and he said it was a piece of cake, but he says that about everything. It really gets my goat how perfect he is.
Don't let him get to you. But look at you using all those idioms. Kick back, take it easy, and gets my goat. You're on a roll. And you use the conditional perfectly. I would take it easy.
I'm trying. It's all about the nuance, right? Speaking of the past, my neighbor, this sweet old lady, she would always leave extra cookies on her porch for the neighborhood kids. That's a good use of would for a habit, right?
Perfect. It sounds like a lovely memory. Using would there makes me imagine the scene vividly. It's those small shifts in language that really help you move from basic communication to actually sharing a feeling. It's really the heart of how we tell stories. But you know, James, would pops up in some very specific phrases that we use every day without even thinking about it. They add so much flavor to a conversation.
Oh, I love those. Like little shortcuts for your feelings, right? Actually, speaking of that, I have to tell you what happened this morning. Would you believe it? I found my car keys inside the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator?
Again, James? Honestly, how do they always end up in there? I think I was just distracted because my dog was trying to steal my toast. But that's the phrase, right? Would you believe it? It's like I'm asking you to be shocked with me.
Exactly. We use would you believe it when something is surprising, ironic, or just plain ridiculous. It's like saying, can you imagine, or can you believe this happened?
It definitely felt ridiculous. My wife just looked at me and sighed. She's so organized, she'd never let that happen. In fact, if I asked her to leave her keys in the fridge, she'd say, I wouldn't dream of it.
She sounds very sensible. And you nailed the second idiom. I wouldn't dream of it is such a strong way to say no. It means you find the idea so impossible or wrong that you wouldn't even imagine doing it.
Yeah, it's not just no, it's no way, never in a million years. Like, my neighbor asked if he could borrow my lawnmower, the one I just fixed. I almost said I wouldn't dream of it, but I decided to be nice and just told him to keep an eye on the blades.
That was kind of you. If someone asked to borrow my cat for a day, I definitely wouldn't dream of it. He's much too grumpy to go to a stranger's house anyway. He'd probably just hide under their sofa and never come out.
I feel you. Some things are just off limits. What about you guys listening at home? Is there something someone has asked you to do where you just thought, I wouldn't dream of it? Maybe eating something strange or skydiving?
Oh, skydiving is a big one for me. I wouldn't dream of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. It's important to remember that these phrases make you sound much more natural. Instead of just saying, that is surprising, you say, would you believe it?
It makes the story pop. It's like you're inviting the other person into your little world. I've been trying to use more of these, but I sometimes get them mixed up. Earlier, I almost said I wouldn't sleep of it, and my wife just looked at me like I'd lost my mind.
Well, you were close. It's all about practice. You have to go through it, even if you make a mistake. That's how we learn. Actually, it's funny how these phrases turn up in the most random moments.
They really do. I ran into an old friend from school yesterday. Would you believe it? He's now a professional clown. I thought he was joking at first.
A clown? Now that is a perfect would you believe it moment. Did he offer to teach you how to make balloon animals?
He did, but honestly, I wouldn't dream of it. I have zero coordination. I'd probably just pop all the balloons and scare the kids. All the balloons. My dog would never forgive me for the noise. He already hides under the sofa when my wife uses the blender, so a room full of popping balloons? That's his nightmare.
Oh, poor thing. My cat is the same. If I even touch the vacuum cleaner, she vanishes for 3 hours. I think she's judging my cleaning skills from under the bed.
I feel you. Anyway, enough about our scared pets. I've been thinking, Elena, since you're the expert, I want to see if you and everyone listening can handle a little challenge. I've got 3 sentences that need a makeover.
A challenge. I love it. I'm ready. What have you got up your sleeve?
Okay, number 1. Imagine I'm at a really boring dinner party at my cousin's house. I want to leave, but I don't want to be rude. How do I change "I want to leave" into a polite request?
That's a useful one. Listeners, what do you think? James, if you just say, "I want to leave," my neighbor Mrs. Gable would probably give you a very mean look. A better way would be, "I was wondering if I could head out," or "Would it be okay if I left a bit early?"
I was wondering if I could head out. I like that. It sounds much smoother. Okay, number 2. This is about my dream life. I will go to Hawaii if I have money, but I don't have the money. How do I make that a hypothetical dream?
We need the second conditional here. You'd say, "If I had the money, I would go to Hawaii." It shows we are just imagining things. How about you, listening at home? If you had $1 million right now, what would you do? I think I'd buy a greenhouse so I could finally win my war against the slugs in my garden.
I'd just buy a robot to do the gardening for me. All right, last one. I'm practicing talking about the past. My sentence is, when I was a kid, I used to play outside every day. How do I change "used to" would?
This is a subtle one. You'd say, "When I was a kid, I would play outside every day." We use would for repeated actions in the past. My husband does this all the time when he talks about his childhood. He'd spend every Saturday watching the trains at the station.
Got it. I would play outside. I'm finally starting to get the hang of it. You make it sound like a piece of cake, Elena.
It takes time, James. But honestly, you're doing great. I hope our listeners are feeling confident with those changes too. It's all about making the language feel natural, right?
Exactly. Though I think I'll stick to "I would stay on the sofa" for now. It's much safer than balloons or trains.
Definitely safer. Ballooning sounds like a lot of work anyway. My husband always says it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when heights are involved. He's much more of a keep your feet on the ground kind of guy, whereas I'm the one always trying to get him to go on an adventure.
I feel you. My wife is exactly the same. She's probably already planned our next 3 hiking trips while I was still trying to find my boots in my doom drawer. It's a mess in there, Elena. Truly.
We all have that one drawer. But listen, James, don't let these if sentences get the best of you. They might seem tricky at first, but once you start using them to dream a little, they actually become quite fun.
You're right. I used to hit a wall every time I tried to use would and if together. I just get confused and stop talking. But talking it through today actually made it feel more natural.
That's the spirit. You just have to play it by ear sometimes. Don't worry too much about being perfect. Speaking of which, it's time for our favorite part of the show.
Oh, here we go. The challenge of the day. I'm ready, I think.
It's a piece of cake, I promise. To our listeners, we want to hear from you. Your challenge is to write just one hypothetical sentence in the comments or in your notebook, starting with "if I were." It can be anything. If I were a bird, I'd fly to Italy for lunch. Or if I were a cat, I'd finally understand why my cat looks at me so judgmentally. How about you, listener? What would you do?
I'd love to read those. I need some inspiration for my next daydream. And hey, if you found this helpful and you want to get the hang of more English secrets with us, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a like or a follow wherever you're listening. It really helps us keep the coffee brewing and the microphones on.
It really does. We love being a small part of your language journey. Thank you for hanging out with us in our little virtual coffee shop today.
Definitely, even if I am still hiding from the chores my wife left me on the fridge. If I were a superhero, I'd use my powers to fold the laundry in 2 seconds. But alas, I am just James. Keep dreaming, keep practicing, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone. See you soon.
Bye. Now, where did I put those keys? Oh, found them. They were in the refrigerator. Again.